You see this one phone deal ended up costing me $1,800. And see, that was a mistake, but I've made plenty. I mean, my phone flipping business when I first got started got torched for $4,300. And it was all because I was making the wrong choices and decisions. My losses are your gain. Because in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly what I wish I knew in the 5 mistakes and give you a little bonus as well, what I would have changed and what I learned throughout my process. I've been phone flipping for over 10 years. On YouTube, you see a lot of people showing you spreadsheets of profit and wins, but they don't really talk about the losses. So let's take that deep dive, because if you're like me, you experience times where you're not making profit or making very little. You want to give up. You're putting money into it, but you're not seeing the benefit coming out. Well, these 5 mistakes are going to show you exactly how you can turn that around, going to give you a head start on your competition. This is going to be a video that will impact you when you'll become a better seller and buyer after this video. Now, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because this is an unfiltered channel where I help you build your phone flipping business. I have raffles on the 20th of December that I will be doing on a live video. All you got to do is be subscribed, hit that bell, comment below in this video if you are a phone flipper, how long you've been flipping phones, and also what is the biggest loss that you've got. Comment below right now. I'm going to respond saying, hey, you're entered into the raffle. You got to make sure that you have that bell on so you are notified when I go live. I'm going to put the names from everybody that comments on my videos this week moving forward, and we will see who will win. Now, guys, let's get into the video. This one mistake cost me $700. See, I made a choice, and I think a lot of us that start with bigger budgets do this, right? I started with $1,500. It ended up costing me $700. When we start looking at phone flipping, we think that it's like FanDuel, some type of betting app where you invest money and you'll get double back if you win. That's not the way phone flipping works. You know, sometimes you'll go ahead and invest some money and only make $50 profit, or maybe even 20 or 30. It depends on the negotiation. It depends on the device when you are meeting up with the customer. And what I thought when I first started was, I need to get the newest phone. I need to get that phone that just came out from that person that just got that phone out of the store. And you'll have a bunch of people you'll see phone flipping. You'll have that person that goes into stores, uses other people's information, and just gets brand new phones and sells them and lists them on Facebook and offer up. Person that is selling their phones because they upgraded to the newer version, and instead of trading it in on their account for credit, they want to go and sell it on Facebook or offer up. This mistake was something that I did out of impulse, not really out of logic, but I thought that, you know, the better the phone, the more money. Well, buyers don't do it that way. They are buying based on market value. If a device like the iPhone 15 is something that people are able to afford, that is going to be a device that you would be able to pay maybe $300 for and make $500 from a wholesale buyer. That's a $200 profit, but that window will close very, very fast. So you got to know exactly what phones to buy when, instead of just buying a iPhone 17 because it's newer. The newer phones make the buyers a little sketchy, and they don't really know if people are going to be able to afford it. Therefore, it's best to hold off on buying new phones, but instead buy the phone that's 2 years older. You don't need a bunch of money to start phone flipping. Just start with around $300. Start buying phones that are like 2 years older, right? An iPhone 15 Pro, 15 Pro Max ain't going to cost you that much money. You got to remember, there is going to be a shift in the market every time a new phone comes out. Therefore, people can't ask for $400 if the iPhone 16 Pro is $400. They can't ask $400 for the 15 Pro. They have to make it make sense. You want to take advantage of that middle tier device. Now, this next lesson cost me around $500, and it's just me literally being a human and being decent and thinking others were going to be decent with me and not realizing they weren't. So it was times and periods where I actually believed that this person was being honest. The person said, hey, listen, yes, it is locked to AT&T, but you can unlock it. You just have to call this number. And I brought the device thinking that I would be able to unlock it. And when I couldn't unlock it, it cost me money. I gave him money thinking that it was a device that could easily be unlocked. I had another guy when he sold me a Samsung that had a Google account on it. These are crucial mistakes because I wanted to rush and close the deal. You know those deals where you're like, yo, this is my first one and I know that I'm about to crush it, or I know that I need this money, only to realize that that person is taking advantage of your urgency. That's why it's important to make sure you're always on your toes, inspecting what you expect, and also creating a spreadsheet. One thing that I do is I have a checklist that I go through every time I have an interaction. So I've learned how to teach people how to actually do a order of operations when inspecting a device. Making sure you check IMEI, making sure that you know the grade of the device the person is saying it is, and then double checking in person. Number 3, making sure when you're meeting that person, it's not going to be on their time, but instead yours. A lot of people, they are rushed when they get to places. Oh man, I gotta go and get my daughter, bro. Can we make this quick? No, we can't. I gotta actually take my time to make sure that I'm not losing money. And I'll tell people that everything is on your terms instead of even a hint of being on theirs. Now, this is the 3rd mistake that I was talking about cost me the most money. Now, if I'm being honest, $1,800 was my initial loss when it came to this one mistake. And you may be like, well, Brandon, why is this mistake so big? Well, it's just having one buyer. And that's really big because I didn't realize that buyers would actually finesse me. I thought me and buyers were on the same team until I realized that it's a business. I had a point in time where I was selling around 20 Sprint phones a day. He was a cool guy and I really bonded with him. We would talk about eBay, sports, and all of these different things. I started selling him a lot of phones. He ran out of cash or started to get low. So he started to downplay me. He started to give me really bad numbers and I didn't have any choice but to sell them to him because I knew it was comfortable. I ran into another buyer a few months later and they were giving me a huge difference. So I had to go and confront that buyer and he told me, he's like, well, let me show you the price list that I have. And he showed me and he was making around a $50 profit every phone that I get. And that was a huge problem for me. Have more buyers. Making sure you're having buyers that you could actually compare the prices to so you avoid being in this situation. Look, guys, I'm gonna be honest, being a phone flipper isn't easy, but it's definitely not hard. It's more about having a network and community. I have a community that I have linked below. It is Hustle 365. All year round, we will be hustling every single day. I set goals with you. I go over a plan of attacks with you where we plan in our week, especially with phone flipping and reselling too. But I also give you access to 50 buyers in this community. You get access to my price list and I will have you screen share with me on Google Meets while you're making phone offers, help you learn how to negotiate, learn the 4 factors of info, learn how to build your phone flipping business into a bigger business, a bigger brand. If you guys want to join this community, definitely go ahead and click the link below and you could be next. Let's get back into the video. Now, my next mistake was me actually going and meeting people in private places. Now, technically the loss was around like $300 in the phone. It wasn't a crazy loss, but it was a loss. I remember I met this guy right on the alley or corner of a house. I thought it was his house. He came out of the back, the driveway or the alley, and I never forget, I was in my car. He stood on the sidewalk and I got out. He was like, you got the phone? I said, yeah. I said, you got the money? He pulled the money out. Now I saw the money, so I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Everything's good with the phone. So I went to give him the phone like this. He snatched it from my hand and he ran down that alley. He had somebody like parked so that I couldn't chase him. I tried to get in my Jeep and chase him, but I didn't know where I was at. And he robbed me basically. And I had another incident where somebody did the same thing, but I got the phone because I grabbed that phone. You know, sometimes we can let people talk us into convenience, right? Like saying, hey, well, you know, I'm here. I'm right around the corner. Could you pop up? No, I can't. I always be in front of ATMs, banks, Walmarts, public locations. To avoid this, always make sure you have a bunch of locations or maybe 4 locations in your area that you're willing to meet people. Drop them the addresses and say which one is closest to you or which one do you prefer, and then meet them there. Now, I do have a bonus, and to be honest, this is going to be something you want to hear. But first, I want to talk about the last and 5th one, right? Spending my profit too fast. You know, when you're making money phone flipping, it doesn't really come from a one-off deal. It usually comes from you buying, flipping, buying, flipping on a consistent basis. As I started seeing a bunch of money, ended up spending it because I thought that it was mine. But I forgot to put money back into the money that I was flipping with. Eventually, the money I was flipping with dried up. I would keep taking from my profit, not realizing I'm not growing because I'm just literally spending the money I'm making. I felt like, yo, phone flipping ain't working. But it wasn't that phone flipping isn't working. It's just that I'm not actually prioritizing my income and putting my money in the right spaces and places. So again, to avoid this, make sure that you have a system. I'd say just split the profit in half, spend half of it, put half back into your bucket of money you are spending phone flipping. All right, guys, in conclusion, the last little bonus I do want to say, make your phone flipping hustle into a business. I like to tell all my students to start a buyback company, like go to pawn shops, any place that's like reselling any type of phone or electronic, buy those electronics from them. Give them a spreadsheet of what you're willing to pay a week and let them give you products that you now can list on eBay or even just sell to a wholesale buyer. Again, in my community, which is linked below, is Hustle 365. I'll teach you how to do that. This is a different approach, but also an approach that you need to make, especially if you're looking to get serious when it comes to building an extra stream of income. And again, I go through a lot of this in my community, and also in my community, I have a bunch of courses that you get for free. You get unlimited book calls with me. I am your mentor in your pocket. If you guys are interested in the phone flipping price list or the community, it is linked below. These mistakes set me back, but also taught me a lot to where I was able to build from and start my first phone store. Speaking of my first phone store, I have a video that I'm going to be dropping, and it's going to be about me actually losing my phone store and the 5 mistakes that I actually did to lose it. And you wouldn't believe how my girlfriend had a position in the loss of my business. Click here to make sure you guys go ahead and check out that video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.